Hi there, it's wee Claire here, and this is Game On Expo, and I'm here with, yes, it's Tim Downie. Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
Hello. Very good. Very, very good indeed. How are you?
I'm very well, and it's good to speak to you because it's been a while, and the last time I spoke to you, it was for my own podcast. We ended up talking about the cult of Tim. I think.
Yes. Yes.
How's that
Oh,
going, by the
brilliant.
way? How's your cult going?
Do you know what? At the moment, really good. I'm in a recruitment stage. Purely, that's where I am. But it's going quite well. I've got to iron out some of the creed, but as soon as that's done, honestly, I'm thinking like a 2026, maybe a 2025 soft opening, and then a 2026, we're gonna go all in, honestly. Badges, tents, weekends away. It's gonna be monumental.
I love it. Soft launch in 2025.
Just a soft launch, yeah, yeah. Just see what taking a gaming model of having a little soft launch, just seeing where the kinks are,
Yes.
and then off you go.
Absolutely. I like that's a sensible approach to cultivating a cult. Very sensible.
Absolutely,
I like that.
absolutely. Oh,
Um,
this is not my first rodeo.
you know what? There's no good segue into my next question, so I'm just going to go, how was 2024 for you, Tim? How was the year that was?
Love to segue. I didn't see it. Didn't even see the seams. It was good. It's been a really good fun. Really, really good fun. Lots of conventions. Met a lot of brilliant people, extraordinary cosplayers. Been to some amazing places as well, which has just been a joy. It really, really has been a joy. And so yeah, I've had a great, great time. I picked up some wonderful. I don't know if you can see these back here. Some little, some little bobble-headed Gales and some other little ephemera as well. There's just been absolutely extraordinary. The skills of some people are simply incredible. There's others little sort of dotted around that I've kept because I just think, oh yes, these are glorious, as well as all sorts of other stuff. A lot of things that people give me are books on folklore, which I am absolutely loving. My folklore library was groaning at the best of times, but now I've got all sorts of things from like Indian star charts to the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's great.
So you're coming over to Phoenix next year in April 2025. Have you or are you going to look into any Phoenix related folklore stories?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Let's not forget as well that this is the hometown of the writer of Game of Thrones as well. So there's that as well to be thought about. How someone from a place that is so hot could write about Northern European climes, I've got no idea, but does it brilliantly. But yeah, I'm gonna be looking into all sorts of strange, weird, wonderful things.
Heck yeah. It's so lovely when you go to Comic Cons and you meet folks, how much they really take in of what you've said, your likes and dislikes and your interests. Does it surprise you and you think, oh yeah, I did say that. Oh yeah, I do like that. And people make these things for you?
Oh, completely, completely. I had one woman who did some watercolors, which were incredibly detailed. Like one of my favorite plant, which is the teasel,
Oh,
and I mentioned it in the podcast probably once or twice over like 20 episodes that we've done, which is like 2 days worth of listening. Teasels that I really, really like, and a few other little nods to things as well, which was absolutely extraordinary. The one that gets me is I came to Chicago earlier in the year, and I was stopped at customs because the scanners had picked up a suspicious amount of books. And I put that up. I just kind of said that, and still to this day, people would come up to me and say, "Well, what books are you carrying? Are they a suspicious amount?" And to which the answer is usually yes, because they are usually about shamanism or witchcraft or folklore or some weird stuff. So you
okay.
do get quite worried that you're not going to get let into a country going, these books on witchcraft, are these yours, sir? Any reason why you're carrying quite so many?
So it's not really the quantity of the books, it's actually what's in the books. It's actually the books themselves that were causing suspicion.
I'll let you into a secret. I think it was a little bit of both because there was about eight, and it was basically the entirety of my hand luggage was just this. So I don't know, but I mean, I should turn around and go. I'm doing a soft launch on a cult,
You
and I need
should.
this. So
Like, I am the Tim Downey. Don't you know who I am? Jeez, I love that. I love that. Maybe like the more that you mention things, like for example, the lovely Deborah Wild mentioned randomly on social media that she loved ranch sauce. And then ranch sauce became the thing that everyone gets her, like ranch earrings, ranch, whatever, an actual ranch sauce. So I'm scared to highlight anything with guests in case, like teasels. I mean, if you want to get teasel wear.
Teasels, I love. If you don't know what teasels, you just look at them. They are my favorite plant. They are beautiful, kind of like survivors, wayside plants, little kind of spiky headed things like that. But they are just brilliant. They're beautiful. Butterflies love them in the summer and spring, and then they just hang around, and they're very architectural and striking when you see them. I don't know what, I just really like them. It's just one of those
Teasels. Okay.
teasel. It's got a great word as well.
It is a great word. Okay, so people, we are encouraging teasels, but not stuff on witchcraft because we want Tim to make it home.
I've got a lot of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I need to make it out of Guam or wherever I may suddenly be, where it's not favoured.
So, speaking of presents, this Christmas, do you ask your lovely wife and kids for something? Do you have a list or do you just let them feel it out? What's the usual thing in your household?
Usual thing is my kids will go rogue. They know what dad likes though, so they do. I mean, look at this room. You can't go in and go, I wonder what sort of aesthetic he likes. I'm really not getting it. So they know what I'm after. I'll give you, for instance, this is what they bought me. It's just down there. I've just seen it. This is what they bought me last year.
Okay.
Give you a rough idea, okay?
Okay. I'm excited.
Right. Ready? You ready for this?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It holds a candle.
Love it.
A little candle in that.
Love
I
it.
mean, you can see where they got the idea from. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that glorious?
That is amazing. I love that. So you don't get socks then, you get skulls.
You get skulls, you get sort of like, I can have this because it's pretty. If it didn't have any adornment, probably wouldn't have made it into the house. But because it's got little flowers and stuff and looks very sweet, then that I'm allowed.
I love that.
So that's the thing. Although they have also threatened me with getting me some sort of Jack Skellington squishmallow, which I may have to say no to.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is the most dad present that you've ever received from your family?
Oh, easy. And I'm surprised. I should have brought it with me because it's sensational. It's a t-shirt with a really big drawing that they made, and one in particular, which was like, oh, this is a picture of dad. And I think it was done when they were about 2 or 3, and I look like a giant spider eating my family. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be, just someone in a tie or something like that. But the kind of tendrils and tentacles that this thing had, and it's massive. It's huge. It's like, I mean, it's absolutely huge. It's got sort of like "Merry Christmas, Daddy" on it. It's very, very sweet. But then when you wear it out, people do kind of go,
You're right
why is
there.
that? Why are you eating your family like some sort of giant tarantula?
But are you okay, Tim? Are you feeling okay?
Is everything all right? Are your kids safe? Is what
You're just in your room like, rectus. It's just like,
exactly. Red ram, red ram.
Dominoes. So yes, it's just like okay, but for you getting your kids things now, are they still into Santa? That's what I want to ask.
Yes, yes, they are. It's
Okay.
getting very thin on the ground
Is it?
in the belief system. Yeah, so we're trying to keep it going. Why parents? There's a whole other discussion about why parents, persist in this lie
Hmm.
that a man is going to sneak into your house and give you presents. I don't know, but there is an element of magic in that, so we'll go with it for now.
He's a
Why
magical
not?
man, Tim. It's fine.
It's magical. Although the problem is now is when you get into a lot of folklore and you read some of the folklore around it, it makes you go, oh yeah. So I'm trying to get my kids a little bit into Krampus,
Mm.
which is a delight. They have a thing called a Krampus run in Whitby. They do it it's a sort of Northern European tradition where it's delightful. You can imagine how charmed the kids are. We're like demon-headed monsters, sometimes in a Santa coat, with a basket of children, make their way through a crowd. And then the joy of something like a Krampus run is when you grab you grab them, start pulling, trying to pull them out. The screams, the tears are of joy. Yeah, of joy.
I love it. I think it's
I'm trying to
amazing.
get it's an extraordinary thing. Try and get them into that might be a bit of a push, but we we can try. We can try. But yes, they still do believe. But I think this might be the last year, which is
Are you preparing for the mini monologue you might have to give to them, or do you think they're just going to be like, "Look, mum and dad, the jig's up. We know."
I think basically the worry is friends of theirs, they had older siblings, and so it's this kind of food chain that goes all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
It will just suddenly be said in a playground, well, Santa's going to bring me this. No, they're not. It's not
Mm.
real. And then it'll be like, like that scene, Spirited Away, where they're
Yes.
riding the dragon, and suddenly she whispers in the ear and it goes. I
Yep.
think
Childhood's
that's
over.
what's going to happen. That's
That's.
what's going to happen.
I mean, it's kind of like, do you feel a wee bit sad that that's coming, because it means, I don't know, that the magic of Christmas in your household, it can still be magical, but that sort of childhood wonder is gonna go. Do you feel a bit
Yeah,
sad?
it is a bit sad, but it's transitional. It's a moment in time, and it's a thing that will inevitably happen, and you try and keep it for as long as you can. But then other traditions will take place. Certain other things will then fill in that void, and I think that's when you start to make your own traditions. Like, okay, this is what we do. This is how we start to celebrate Christmas. That amalgamation of what I used to do as a kid, what my wife used to do as a kid, and you kind of smash them together, and it creates something new from the embers. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
No, I like that, creating like new traditions. We didn't really have any. We were a very kind of boring house at Christmas, and then with like for the last 20 years I had a certain sort of tradition, and then in the last couple of years, because I'm on my own, I'm like, what do I do? So I've started watching Highlander on Christmas Day. I don't know
Ooh,
why. I love that
yeah,
film. It's ridiculous. And I think it's amazing. But I don't know why. It just makes me feel happy on Christmas Day. So why
yeah,
not?
right.
What about
Why
you?
not?
Weird traditions or traditions that are maybe a bit odd that your family do on Christmas that are just for your family?
Just for our family. Well, what we would do quite traditional sort of, I would watch a little kind of family film or something like that. But then when it got dark, we've always been me and my sisters, we've always been a little bit sort of like, ooh, spooky.
Hmm.
So after sort of like, a midnight walk around the church in the hope of seeing phantoms and that kind of thing, we would come home and we would watch a Christmas horror. And it basically started because I got Texas Chainsaw Massacre one year as a present. I was like, oh my God, we got to watch this on Christmas Day. It's going to be amazing. So consequently, once everyone used to go to bed, we would watch a Christmas horror. And then we would start like Texas Chainsaw or Hellraiser,
Hmm.
those kind of things, not particularly Christmassy. But then we would drift into the classic ghost stories, the M.R. James Christmas ghost stories and things like that, which are brilliant for Christmas. And that really is watching The Signalman, which is like a 1970s BBC thing with Denham Elliott. Oh, it's amazing. It's brilliant. Eerie, spooky, exactly what you want.
Yes.
And Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad, which is like a 1960s directed by Jonathan Miller, who was one of the Beyond the Fringe members, along with Alan Bennett and Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, and Michael Hordern, who plays this professor who has unearthed this whistle and blows it and nothing happens, but it's awoken this thing from the past, something that's been awoken and brought back, and it doesn't. And it's just so wonderfully Christmassy. It's glorious.
There's something I love about that time period of for film, anyway, like 60s, 70s, going into maybe the early 80s, about the atmosphere of horror or Christmas stories and things and ghost stories around about that time. I don't know if it's maybe the way that things were filmed, something about, I think now for me, I'm going to sound very old, everything's too shiny, but everything is a little bit overproduced for me and a little bit shiny. I like to really feel like I can see the bloody ghost. Like that looks like how it would look like if I was watching something. I don't know, it's something, it's hard to explain, but I like that time period because when I was a kid and I was watching those films from that time, I was genuinely spooked. I was like, oh, like, and
Absolutely.
that's what gets you, you know. I remember watching, oh no, which version of the, because there's so many versions of A Christmas Carol, but it's like a really, really old version, and like the ghosts that appear really scared me. Like,
Oh yeah,
it was
yeah. I
like,
think was it the black and white
yes.
with Alistair Sim as Ebenezer Scrooge? Yeah, it is. It's genuinely quite because it's
Yeah.
got that like cottage industry, like it's been made with glass and mirrors, and it's all about perspective pulling, and it's kind of made in the camera. It's very real. It's kind of it's there,
Yes. It's
not created
horror.
in that
Yeah, I
sense.
got friggin' so terribly frightened as a child. But I like that. I like that weird tradition that you have. Well, not, it's not weird, but that's like your family thing. In terms of, so movies on the day with your kids. What do you watch with your kids that you enjoy and don't enjoy? Because I'm sure there's many you're like, oh god.
Oh, there's a lot. I think they will probably want to. It changes all the time. They're young, they're fickle, they
Yeah.
haven't learned properly yet. I'm still trying to get them into like soft horror, like just little bits of this.
Soft launching that
Um,
idea, just soft launching.
just soft launching. I remember as a teenager having not having is ridiculous. I made my sister, who was 9, which is in between ages of my kids, watch Hellraiser. But I made her. I said, no, no, no. Before we do this, because you might get scared, I don't want you to tell mum and dad. We're going to watch the making of in like one of those double VHS things.
Love it.
We're going to watch the making of Hellraiser, and it's going to be fun. And she was genuinely amazed because there's a bit in it where Frank pulls himself out of the
Yeah.
floor and all the skin kind of like gets sucked out of the board onto it. And they did it by melting like a wax figure under massive heaters. So it actually, and then just reverse the film. She thought it was just, oh, I said, there you go. There's nothing to be scared of. It's movie magic. And then obviously nightmares ensued when Cenobites arrive and start pulling you with fish hooks and stuff.
Watching
So
Hellraiser is slightly different from the making of it.
yeah, it is. It is. I learned that. I learned that in a very real way, which you would not go to sleep or stop screaming. So, but you live and learn. What can I say?
I did that with my little brother though, with music and film and all sorts. And I like to think that I ended up influencing a lot of what he ended up really
Yeah.
liking, because I liked sci-fi and things like that, and I liked hard or alternative music, so he started to listen to that. Do you see that with your kids, them influencing each other? No.
There are definite sort of shifts and balances, which is really
Mm.
interesting to see as to like the aesthetic that they kind of start liking. So my eldest is probably more influenced by sort of like her contemporaries in her class.
Yes.
So like the Taylor Swift kind of move because it's huge. Whereas my youngest has said, no, 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 I'm quite rock and roll. So is now listening to Fleetwood Mac
Oh.
and Blondie and as like just to be the antithesis of
Ah.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, I
Would you go?
like that.
I can get behind that. So I'm trying to introduce a bit of the Ramones. She's got into Green Day of late, which is quite interesting as well.
Oh, I
Quite choice
love.
lyrics, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you know, if
You
it's
know,
sung, it's not rude, so it's fine.
You know what? I feel like when we were younger, we were exposed to so many things. And I watched RoboCop when I was like really young, and that's grim.
God,
So,
oh my God, that scene which embedded itself, where the robot comes in and it malfunctions, and the
mm-hmm,
guy's trying to get away, and it just shoots him to pieces.
mm-hmm.
Was just, oh my God, was just
It's
horrendous.
horrible. But look, we're here today. You're sitting in front of your folklore witchcraft
There you
things.
go. I'm fine with my skull and my corn dolly to welcome in autumn. Absolutely fine.
And I am in a green screen void. So, like, We're okay, Tim. I don't need a therapist. You need a
We're
therapist.
okay. We're okay.
We're gonna be okay. God damn it, Jesus. Anyway, sorry. Back to Christmas. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas times. Okay, so games, because this is Game On Expo. So I'm not going to ask you about video games in this instance, but let's talk about board games. Are you a board game family, and what kind of player are you? Are you competitive, or are you sit back and watch?
I enter into every game with a calmness like you wouldn't believe. Just like, let's just play the game, let's enjoy the journey. There's one moment during a particular Christmas that many of my members of the family will talk of, which was a particular game of Monopoly where I just completely ruined everyone, and I made sure that nobody left until I had literally bankrupted every single person. And I do remember it's the first time this has ever happened to me. You know, in films when like the Christopher Walken character in Bond is kind of shooting everyone and is kind of laughing maniacally because of the joy they're gaining from everyone else's distress. I did that laugh, and it's the first and only time that
Wow.
it came out. I was like, wow, it's Christmas Day, and I'm like, no, we want to leave, please, no tears, please. Give me all our money.
No. What was going through your head, Tim? Like, were you just possessed by something? That just the power went to your head?
I was consumed. I realized that with any cult that I'm about to launch, it's going to have a soft launch, because I've got to get that level of excitement out of my system, because it was too much for me. The power corrupted me in between, a Christmas dinner and Antiques Roadshow. I was completely corrupted. I didn't know what to do with myself. I
So
was
power
totally just like, I was rich and
increment,
powerful. I had a complete and utter breakdown.
power
It was
in
shocking. One time
increments.
after the summer wine came on, I was fine. Others were still reeling, but
Oh
Eddie,
my God. So
Eddie,
do they remind you of that and they go, oh God, don't play?
younger sister. Yes, she does. It obviously, along with the Hellraiser, along with that particular incident, she will bring that up every other Christmas. Every other Christmas, if ever a game is mentioned and Monopoly comes up, yep, oh, it's mentioned. We also used to play cards, so just the three of us. So I've got two other sisters. We would play cards. My middle sister, um, still, we played it for like years and years. Still to this day, doesn't quite know the rules and would still win every single Christmas. He was like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing. Either we were being massively played, because we would just sit there going, how can you, how can you not know how this works? Do I pick this card up? No, you don't pick. What are you doing? And you go, oh, I just do that and that. Oh, you've won now.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
you're being played. I think you're being played.
it was so good. It was so good. I don't know, because it was so good. But yeah, so that used to infuriate us as we would get progressively more and more drunk as the thing went. Like, this is just ridiculous. We would drink, me and my younger sister at the time, as in we would drink at the time, just drink probably a bottle of sherry each, because we thought that's Christmas.
Oh no, that's a bad
A
hangover.
good, I mean, it was horrendous. Don't get me wrong, but it felt Christmassy. It felt sort of like, oh, let's have a little sherry,
Yes.
and then we just, it's quite Moorish.
Yes, a little sherry is not a little sherry. A little sherry is a
You're
bottle.
drinking, it's not when you're drinking a bottle of sherry, honestly. We feel like I've turned a corner. I've aged up by at least 50, 60 years from where I was at the time. That's where I should be, but now, yeah, shouldn't be happening.
So now, considering all this, the Downey family sound like an interesting family of players, for sure.
Yeah.
You sound
Yes.
very
Full
interesting.
of vengeance and hatred for our fellow man, but lovely to be around, honestly.
So now this year, do people kind of avoid the games now, or have you learned from your mistakes? Just kind of keep it in, keep it controlled.
Do really like games, so we'll get a game, like a new game every year for Christmas.
Mm.
So it could be like a Cluedo, something like that. Especially, it's good when the kids get older, because you can actually tell them the rules and go, stop don't walk away, you got to stay and play this game. So we got Cluedo, we've got Monopoly, And there's lots of other little bits and pieces. There's a Neanderthal poetry game where you get a little kind of blow up club and you have to speak in single syllables.
Oh,
Whilst having to describe something, it's brilliant. And you get to hit people with a mallet. That's fun. Oh, there's all many different things
oh, I love
that we
that.
that we
I,
do, but we do really enjoy it. Card games have just started to come in because of the simplicity. So it was Spit. Spit we used to play where you put three cards down, three cards on top, and the idea is to try and get rid of the cards, and the ones that are laying face down, you just have to guess. And that was what it comes to the end. It was great fun.
I love that. I
Great.
miss games. I love word games specifically. Really enjoy it. Like the game with the club sounds like right up my street. I like word games.
That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Love word games. Well, Tim, what do you want to say to the lovely people as a kind of sending them off into 2025 with some good well wishes? What do you want to say as cult leader, Tim, or normal Tim, if you wish? If you so wish, I'll let you decide.
My glorious people. Let's embrace 2025 like 'twas a favorite aunt, not a strange aunt that you would meet at a wedding, but a good one of the fun ones. Let's really do it. Let's kiss it right on the face, stare it right down, and say, "Follow me, for I will fill in the gap with a little star symbol that I will create for 2025." The soft opening. Be there. I'll send out a round robin email.
Thanks, Tim. Tim, you've been wonderful, and we're very excited to have you at Game On Expo in April 2025. Very excited.
Oh, very excited to be coming.
It'll be awesome. I've been Wee Claire. This has been Game On Expo. This has been Tim Downie, and we'll see you soon.